Christmas is family only this year. Her voice was clipped, rehearsed, as if she had already decided who would be in and who would be out. I said, "Of course," because arguing was pointless. I hung up, listening to the dial tone hum like a tiny funeral. I spent that Christmas alone, the apartment silent except for the fridge humming, each buzz echoing like a taunt. I remember the first time I met her, my ex. She smiled like the world was ours to conquer. I believed it. Late nights on the city rooftop, fingers intertwined, secrets traded as if trust were currency. Love was a fortress, and I thought I was safe inside. It started slowly, missed call here, a strange text there. Nothing that would trigger suspicion if you didn't look too close, but I did. I always looked too close. One evening, her phone lit up with a message that wasn't meant for me. Or maybe it was, in some cruel subconscious way. The words were sharp, intimate, forbidden. I felt the ice crawl along my spine, but I didn't confront her. I couldn't. Not yet. I needed clarity. Days turned into weeks. Patterns emerged. Late-night dinners she forgot to tell me about. Her laughter in the background of video calls that wasn't mine, signs subtle and carefully placed, like breadcrumbs for a predator tracking me. But I didn't follow blindly. Observed, noted. Cataloged, I began to plan. Revenge doesn't bloom from rage, it grows from calculation. I learned her routines, her confidants, her vulnerabilities. I mapped every weak spot like an architect of inevitability. Her betrayal had one flaw. She underestimated patience. Christmas was my first test. Alone, yes, but quietly powerful. I didn't cry, I didn't scream, existed in silence, letting the emptiness sharpen my mind. I worked. I traveled. I lived a life she thought she had taken from me. Every Instagram story she saw of me alone, smiling quietly, was another pin in her chest. By New Year's Eve, the stage was set. I booked the Maldives yacht she would recognize not for luxury, but for symbolism. I made sure everyone she knew would notice. Then I waited. Timing was everything. I posted the photo, me laughing, sun-drenched, effortless. With someone she couldn't ignore, my phone exploded with calls. First my friends, then my family, then hers. They were all staring at the screen, trying to decode my life without knowing the truth. And the truth, the person sitting next to me, was her sister, the one she'd confided in, the one she'd trusted to keep secrets. I made sure she knew I wasn't alone and that I wasn't waiting. I had rewritten the rules. My betrayal mirrored, multiplied, undeniable. Her calls came last. I didn't pick up. I waited for the realization to dawn in. Silence. When I finally answered, it was calm, controlled. "Happy New Year," I said, letting the words drip like acid. "What? How?" she stammered. I let her stumble. I let her imagination finish the story. Every moment of doubt, every pang of guilt she had buried deep, I brought to the surface. She realized her world was unraveling thread by thread. Friends doubted her loyalty. Family questioned her judgment. And all the while, I remained untouchable, smiling across oceans she couldn't cross. Weeks later, I heard she had confronted her sister accusations, shouting tears. I didn't intervene. I watched. From a distance, satisfied. I didn't need chaos. I needed justice. And it had arrived on its own, delivered perfectly by her own hands. I reflect on that moment, often not with anger, not with sadness, but with a quiet, deliberate satisfaction. Betrayal had taught me patience, strategy, and control. I had become the author of my own story. The chessboard had been cleared, and I was standing unscathed, victorious. Christmas had tried to isolate me. New Year's proved who I really was. And as for them, they learned what it meant to underestimate someone who knows exactly how to strike, exactly how to disappear after the blow. I didn't need fireworks or drama. One photo, one calculated smile, and the world shifted. That was enough.